Let's be real. Artificial intelligence isn't some far-off future thing for the legal world anymore. It's here, right now. And it's changing, well, pretty much everything, from how we review contracts to how we do legal research. But, as firms are scrambling to get these shiny new tools, there's a huge question that's getting glossed over. Are we building the future of law on a foundation of digital quicksand? Let's unpack what that really means.
Check this out. 78% of legal departments are already using AI in some form. So yeah, this isn't a trend that's maybe coming down the pipe. No, it is happening right now. AI is already woven into the fabric of the modern legal professional's daily grind.
And that is the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's the whole reason we're talking about this today. While everyone's chasing efficiency and trying to be innovative, are we accidentally leaving the back door wide open to some really catastrophic security risks? The kind of risks that could shake the very core of legal practice.
All right, so to really get a handle on what's at stake here, we first have to accept this new reality, a world where AI isn't just another piece of software, but a fundamental part of how law firms operate.
So here's the thing you've got to understand. For a lawyer, an AI data breach is not just some IT headache or a financial hit. No way. It's a potential ethical bomb. It's a breach of your client's trust. It could even be a threat to your entire career. The absolute bedrock of the legal profession, confidentiality, is what's on the line.
Okay, let's dive into some of the really scary stuff, the things that are unique to using AI in law. And just to be clear, these are not your run-of-the-mill cybersecurity threats. This is a whole new ballgame.
First up, the absolute worst-case scenario, privilege waiver. Just picture this. You're feeding a ton of privileged documents into a cool new AI tool for analysis. But what if that tool's security is leaky? Or what if the fine print says the vendor can peek at your data? You might have just accidentally waived attorney-client privilege for the entire case. The whole thing could be over before it even starts.
And then you have a more straightforward but just as brutal breach of confidentiality. This one's simpler to grasp but just as devastating. Imagine an AI system holding all your clients' sensitive M&A plans, their trade secrets, or litigation strategy, and it gets hacked. You haven't just let your client down. You've broken one of the most sacred rules of professional conduct.
Now this is a weird one that could only happen with AI. Cross-client contamination. See, some of these AI models learn from the data you give them. So what happens if the model accidentally uses a tidbit of confidential info from client A's case while it's generating a document for client B? Whoops! You've just created a massive ethical mess and a data breach with a single click.
All right, so where are all these boogeymen hiding? If you're going to build a solid defense, you've got to know the battlefield. So let's map out exactly where the weak spots are. Think of it like you're fighting a war on two fronts at the same time. On one side, you've got hackers and malicious actors on the outside actively trying to break in. And on the other, you've got gaps in your own internal processes that are basically leaving the doors unlocked.
And what's wild here is how specific these threats are to AI. Attackers aren't just trying to hack your servers anymore. They're using things like prompt injection, which is basically tricking the AI into spilling secrets, or data poisoning to mess with its training data and make it totally unreliable. It's a whole new level of cyber attack.
But you know what? As scary as those hackers are, for a lot of firms, the real danger, it's coming from inside the house. It's not doing a risk assessment before you buy that new AI tool. It's lawyers using AI without any real training. Or, and this is a big one, it's just blindly trusting a vendor's flashy marketing about how secure they are, without actually checking. These are totally self-inflicted wounds.
Okay, enough doom and gloom. How do we actually fix this? Well, the good news is there's a really clear, actionable way to take back control. It's what we call a three-layered defense.
I absolutely love this analogy because it just clicks, right? You can't just build strong walls and call it a day. You also need secure doors and, crucially, people who know how to use them properly. Your data is the foundation, your vendors are the doors, and your team is the staff.
So, layer one. This is the bedrock, the foundation of everything, governing your data. Before any client information even gets near an AI, you need to have ironclad, non-negotiable rules for how it's handled.
And look, this isn't just a one-and-done decision. You have to think about the entire journey your data takes. What data are you even allowed to collect, to use with AI? Where is it being processed? How is it being stored and encrypted?
Who can you share it with? And maybe most importantly, how do you securely get rid of it when you're done? You need a clear answer for every single one of these steps.
Which brings us perfectly to layer 2, vetting your vendors. And here's the crucial takeaway. Just because you're using a third-party AI tool, it does not mean you can outsource your ethical duties. You can't just pass the buck on this one. The risk and the responsibility is still 100% yours.
A huge decision here is where your AI actually, well, lives. This table lays out the trade-offs perfectly. On-premises means you have complete, total control over your data. That's great for super sensitive stuff, but it costs a fortune and requires a ton of in-house expertise. The cloud, on the other hand, is easier to scale and you get to lean on your vendor's expertise. But, and this is a big but, you're in what's called a shared responsibility model. You have to know exactly what security they cover and what you're still on the hook for.
And finally, we get to the layer that holds it all together, your firm's culture. Seriously, you can have the best tech and the most detailed policies in the world, but they are absolutely useless if your people aren't trained, if they're not aware, and if they're not held accountable.
And we're not just talking about some feel-good memo here. Building a security-first culture is a real, comprehensive effort. It means leadership has to be visibly on board. It means continuous education, not just a one-time webinar that everyone clicks through. It means everyone knows what they're responsible for. Security can't be an afterthought. It has to be baked into everything you do.
So where do you even start? How do you take this 3-layer framework and turn it from just a bunch of good ideas into a reality at your own practice? Well, you start by measuring what matters. Because let's face it, what gets measured gets managed. You need to set up clear metrics for key areas like access control and how you manage vendors. Figure out where you are now, set a target for where you want to be, and track your progress. It makes the whole goal tangible and keeps everyone honest.
And the great thing is, you don't have to boil the ocean overnight. A roadmap like this one breaks the whole journey into bite-sized pieces. You start with the foundation, getting your policies and risk assessments in order, and you slowly build up from there. It turns a really complex process into something that's actually achievable.
So, we'll leave you with this question, because at the end of the day, AI security isn't just an IT problem. It's a fundamental question of your professional responsibility and your business strategy. In this new age of AI, a secure practice isn't just a compliant one, it's a competitive one. So the real question is, are you proactively building for the future, or you're just waiting for a crisis to force your hand?